Welcome back to Stars, Stripes, and Stress. I got Hoy with me this week, like always. We're going to get to France versus Spain. We're going to get to England versus Argentina. And we're going to get to a lot of stuff about the quarterfinal games. But first, I know, ever since we've started podcasting, I'm not sure if I've seen Hoy itching to get in front of a microphone more than maybe the quarterfinal results. And I sadly think this is going to specifically be against VAR, but I'm going to get out of the way a little bit and let Hoy kick us off here because I've been getting some angry text messages over probably the last 3 weeks. It's probably not just the last week. It's pretty much been the whole tournament, right? And so, like I said, I'm getting out of the way for you here.
No, and okay, it's earlier on. It wasn't as bad. I mean, obviously, officiating is not going to be 100% all the time, but when you see a lack of consistency across the board over and over and over and over again, something's not right. And I mean, obviously, anyone who knows me knows I'm a conspiracy theorist. So like, I could go down that rabbit hole for days and days and days. But I mean, even just doing a quick lookup on like the amount of times VAR was called versus how many times it went in favor for the higher market team or the like higher ranked team, it's jarring. It is jarring. And it's not just the fact that it went that way, but how many VAR calls weren't made also on top of that for the other team, right? So it's like VAR's only being called when it can favor certain teams, and that's what's really killing. And oh my God, I know we're gonna go into some of these games, so I'll bring it up then for each individual case, but like it's just I just don't understand. And I don't think you should just introduce random technologies without 100% like proof too. Like this whole chip in the ball thing is absolutely crazy when you go apples to apples and you're really talking about it. Where are the results? Like we need to see. I can't. Just cut me off now and let's go to the games because I
I
could do a
loved it.
solid hour segment here.
I was impressed. That was a pretty good start. Okay, so let's just go through the games, like you said. So France, Morocco. France wins 2-0. I mean, anything really from that one? The things I'm gonna come away with only the positive things that 10 years from now, history is gonna remember. And their two best guys scored. Mbappe scored, and I'm not gonna pronounce Dembele's last name right, but I took a shot
Pele.
at it there.
I think you nailed it.
But yeah, I mean, those two guys score in a 2-0 game. Um, I mean, France deserved to win, right? I know they didn't look great, but they deserved to win at least, right?
I mean, if we're talking stats and numbers, yes, obviously they deserve to win. It did suck. My dark horse was missing their captain and leading scorer, Saibari. And it did suck that, VAR also came into play in this game. I mean, not to say that this one should have necessarily gone Morocco's way. This is actually one where I don't think it really mattered. But there was a VAR decision in this one that clearly went in France's favor, giving them a goal. But nonetheless, I think the better team won in this one, although it was a way closer game than I had anticipated. And I think my dark horse actually did themselves justice.
Oh, all these quarterfinal games were close. I mean, that was the fun part about it, and so close that we're gonna, criticize the officiating. So, and so the other quarterfinal game in that part of the bracket was Spain Belgium. So Spain wins 2-1. Spain has just been sneaking by round after round after round. What stood out to you from that one?
Uh, I mean, they've just been putting up clean sheet after clean sheet this entire World Cup. So I mean, like we already knew they were a defensively sound team. They were gonna possess. I was actually more impressed with how Belgium came at this game. They were very high pressure. They were showing how they put up so many goals throughout like the World Cup coming to this point. It was a very good game to watch. I mean, I guess if you're not really like a super soccer nerd, then like it might have been a little boring to some people's taste, but Spain was somehow able to find a way to put a couple in the back of the net.
I mean, game-winning goal in the 88th minute. That's hard to. I mean, that's exciting. And I
It's
mean,
always fun.
similar to yeah. I mean, right. And so similar to the next game, England wins 2-1 over Norway. So you were calling Morocco your dark horse. I think the world's dark horse was Norway, and Haaland became an international star, probably third behind Messi and Cristiano at this point. I would just say if you go off of like ask random people on the street, like name three soccer players, like Haaland's probably close to taking that third spot just based off what happened during this World Cup, and especially anybody on social media. That guy's a social media darling right now. But like I said, England knocks out Norway. Jude Bellingham is another one he's probably a top 10 star in the world now. You know, maybe he's not the top 5 talent, but everybody knows the guy's name and he's on England and he's performing well in the spotlight. And he plays for Real Madrid. So I think he's part of the reason that people want Mbappe off that team, I think, right? So because he's doing so well
Yep.
there. So either way, separate storyline. Um, what do you remember from this one? I'll say I'll go first with mine real quick. Is the replay that's all over social media is the one where Haaland's wide open, waiting for the ball in front of the net on the 2-on-1 break, and I don't know the guy's name that doesn't want to pass it to him, but it's all the memes are just like
I
Michael
don't know how
Jordan's
you
wide
don't.
open.
Like,
I
are you
know,
brain
I
dead?
know.
Like your leading scorer, the guy's a freak. You could have literally put it anywhere, anywhere. Just tell him to go get it. He would have got it. The field was so open. It's and like conspiracy theory again. I don't know, but like they had to have been paid him off. They had like there was so many times the wingers didn't find him or just decided to shoot instead. I don't understand, and I don't blame him for wanting to come off the field early. I'm like at that point I'd be tired as the lead guy on the team.
Oh, they are. And that's not fair to strikers that get subbed off early just because with 5 subs, like it's just after 65, 70 minutes, the guy on the bench with fresh legs probably is a little bit better than you. Like even if you are the best player in the world, which I don't know, Messi never comes off. So, and I don't know, maybe I wouldn't take Haaland's young enough where I probably wouldn't have taken him off. I mean, I don't know. I guess
It doesn't make sense. You do not pull a guy in that kind of
yeah,
game. You don't know when Norway's going to be back in that position again. He's in his
yeah.
prime. He's showing he can do it. He didn't even run that game. Like he literally just was having a wrestling match
Yeah.
with people in the box here and there. And then, he was doing what I thought Cristiano did this game. He was just walking around until he found his chance. But, his team just wouldn't give him the ball.
I was gonna
Um,
say those are the guys that don't come out of the game. It's Messi, Cristiano, like with the old guys, and then you would think he would kind of be on that list, and
I'd put him right there.
but he does come often. Well, whatever.
Ugh. And like he
So
didn't
was
even put up
there?
a fight. I would have put up a fight or something, but that's not even the biggest headline in this game. So let's get to the real thing. The ball hitting the freaking camera wire. That everyone knows the rules. The rules are plain and simple. If a ball hits a foreign object, the ball is supposed to drop and you just reset and play there. Where is this chip technology that could pick out hair follicles from the freaking Croatia game and knocks out a team? And then now this, and like, don't they also control the wires too? I don't know. At this point, I think FIFA's up there with the Xbox controller, and they're moving that thing around and trying to get the ball to drop. I don't know what's going on, man. It's that sensor
Well,
technology is crazy.
it's Bdubs with the camera up there, right? I mean, it's always been Bdubs, right? I mean, they're the ones that alter games. I mean, it's been like that. It's funny they stopped running those ads basically. I think once gambling became legal because people are like, well, this is kind of like a
Yeah, it's a little scary. It's a little too transparent, guys. Like let's not just throw it out there for everyone to know.
This was
That's
funny
crazy.
before gambling was legal. Yeah, I actually just realized that when you were talking. I was like, yeah, they don't run those anymore. Um, Either way, yeah, that's one where, and it did. It's crazy too, because it's not like it hit the wire and then it went in the goal, but it does affect. It clearly affected the flight of the ball, and then that affects how everybody plays from it, and yeah, that's one where I sit there and I see that ball and I see the ball like change trajectory after it hits the wire, and I'm like, oh gosh, this is just controversy waiting to happen. Here we go. Like here we go.
Like, is that even something that should be controversial? That's the thing, is like it should just be black and white. Like it clearly hit something, whatever it may have been. Maybe it wasn't the wire, maybe it was someone who threw a bottle on the field or something. I don't know what it is, but it regardless, it drops. They get a goal off of it within the next like 5-10 seconds. How is it not reviewed more if you're already these guys they pulled back that Egypt goal that happened like 2 minutes ago, and they won't go back and review this like thoroughly. Like I don't understand. They took like 10 minutes on that replay. It's just, and this is the problem: is just inconsistency, and they won't release the sensor technology little ticks that they're claiming that they see, and it's like they're just fabricating everything. How's that? That's crazy, and that's a big word for me. So
It is funny because I always talk about like all these good replay technologies in other sports where like tennis has it down, except for randomly they won't do it at the French Open, so I don't get it. Because it's they're over. I guess to your point, people want to see how the technology is being used, and I guess at the French Open, basically they say like the margin for error is too large, and I don't know why at Wimbledon and the U.S. Open and in Australia that they for some reason allow it, but at the French they don't. So if I don't, anybody that watched tennis this year, they didn't have it there, the replay system. But baseball pretty much has it down now where like there's none of what you're saying exists in baseball because everybody believes the replay. Like the cartoon comes up and it's accurate enough where nobody's looked at a play and looked at it like, well, that's completely wrong, even though the replay says it's right. Like it's everybody's pretty much like the borderline stuff. Instead of trying to zoom in with 100x, they're just like, all right, we'll just trust the replay and move on. It's crazy how baseball's got down, and I've never seen one go so wrong in this tournament specifically. Like nobody believes VAR. Like when VAR comes into play and overturns something, you're not getting overwhelming like, yeah, that was the right call. It's like everybody wants to question it immediately. Is the first response.
yeah, but it's mainly the way they're going about some of them, and it's just because you find the inconsistencies, right? Like I keep saying it, but like if they were consistent to a degree, like even if it was like 70-30, it would be fine. But it's literally just like it's just whatever the ref feels. And what sucks is that I think they're not giving the on-field ref enough power. Like, why are they waiting so long? Why is he not making these calls? And why is it going so far back where they can review like whatever they want at that point? Like, just let the man call it. And then if that is wrong, they should fix that. But like they're using it to like have a scapegoat at this point. Like, don't call anything, and we'll just decide, if and when we feel like it. It's just that's what I don't understand.
And the other thing I'll say is soccer, more than any other sports, has a lot of like dead periods where you can kind of kill the play and almost go right back to it. And it's not a huge momentum breaker. Obviously, fast breaks and when the ball's moving, but like every time a team passes the ball backwards, like that honestly is for me when say a play happens that's controversial, so maybe the ref calls it or the ref doesn't call it, because obviously if he calls it then we're good because we can just stop and we can go right to replay, and that's very natural. But
Mhm.
it would be the ones you're talking about where he doesn't call it and then somebody from the sky wants to come in and change it. I would say just let the play go until the minute that they start playing the ball backwards, and then once they pass the ball backwards, then if VAR wants to make a decision, kill it, and then give them maybe 30 seconds to do their thing. And even if at that point they say, you know what, sorry guys, we were wrong, like just put the ball back down and let's play from where we were, essentially.
Mhm.
That's my quick 2 cents. I mean, somebody can probably think about it a lot longer and come up with a lot better of idea, but it's just like football where they haven't perfected it in the NFL yet. Like we haven't gotten to a point where somebody's just in the sky making whatever decision he wants to make. Like there's still a lot of rules in football, which leaves people really frustrated. And and yeah, I would say there's been some, calls that have been overturned correctly by VAR, but the overall when the overall topic is how bad the replay system is, it's not great for your tournament. Even though it's been a great tournament.
Well,
But that's not great.
and I want to add, like, it's not like they were always wrong in terms of like the offsides calls. A lot of the VAR, and we've talked about this before. A lot of times, even if we're rooting for one team or the other, a lot of those offside calls were indeed correct. Um, I think the biggest problem does come from this like new sensor technology as well, where it's like you didn't really test this out or show this to the world, and now it's just coming out in the biggest moments for some of these teams, and it's not like we feel bad for them. I mean, we do. I do, but like, like it's a little more than that. It's just a random thing that we have no evidence and no real proof of, and it's like it's just hard to judge as just a third person just watching the game. Um, but it's
O-
tough. I don't know.
Okay.
It's tough.
So let's get
Norway's
to this
tough.
let's get to this last one though, because we just did the whole VAR thing without talking Argentina Switzerland, and I think that's probably the one of the quarterfinals that it changed the game the most, and I'll
Mm.
take us through that one. So It's 1-1 in the 72nd minute when Switzerland's Embolo, I believe his name is, he flops. And that would have, and so now with VAR, they can go back and they call it mistaken identity. And in this, and the fine details with this one is the referee has to call a foul on the field for there to be a mistaken identity. So, some people are going to start blaming referees on this because if the referee doesn't call the foul, like doesn't call the flop, like doesn't mistakenly identify the other guy, then there's no mistaken identity, and then there's no yellow card given. Like essentially, the play just moves on. So what I'm trying to say is, if the referee on the field doesn't call a foul, VAR cannot come in and give a flop based off a non-foul call. They can only come in and give a flop if the referee mistakenly identifies the foul, which it took me a while to figure out why they called it, the rule that. And the more I say it, the more I figured it out. Because, like I said, it's got to be a mistaken identity. It cannot be a you flopped and everybody missed it. So that guy was mistakenly identified for his second yellow card, and the result of that play is a yellow card. So if you get mistakenly identified, it's a yellow card, and that was his second yellow card, right? And that's how this red card comes, is because he had a yellow card earlier, and then this is another yellow card, and that's one where I don't know. I mean, if we keep this system around, that one people might just have to get used to. I don't know, unless I don't know. What did you think about that whole situation?
Wait, I guess I'm a little confused. So basically, they shouldn't have VAR'd that then, because there
No, no, no,
wasn't an
no, no.
original flag.
No, there was. No, there was. I'm saying though that there are people on the internet, like if you want to go, you want to put your conspiracy hat on, um, it's a weak foul. So the whole play to begin with, where the guy flops, I don't want to say it's obvious that he flops, but
That's
there's
pretty close.
there's not a lot of you know what I mean? I know
Yeah.
that's a weird thing to say, but like, and also you're putting a lot on the referee because now you're going to say, well, it's obvious that he flopped, like you shouldn't have called that to begin with. Well, that's kind of what this rule's in play for, yada yada yada.
Mhm.
So to your point, we're kind of letting this stuff go out before we fully tested it, and this is definitely one of them. I'm not sure if we fully tested it. Um, but it's a weak foul. So if he doesn't call the weak foul, VAR can't come in and give a yellow card to a live play. Essentially, it's
Mm-mm-mm.
got to be the dead play in that situation. So, but I don't think you're got to be a big time conspiracy person to that one. I think is more just we got a little too specific with a rule, and we didn't maybe put enough nuance into the rule. And that was one of those where you'd love somebody to just come in that's a little bit of a rule breaker as an official or as a VAR guy and just be like, nope, we're just gonna move on from this one. Sorry guys, like I know that's not exactly what the rule says, but the game didn't need a red card there. And as an official, it sucks. You just don't want to change the outcome of a game. You want to do anything you can possible to not change the outcome of a game, and it sucks that kind of changed the outcome of a game. I know it went overtime, like Switzerland tried, they hung on, um,
And
but
it's
they
not like
just
they
broke.
didn't have looks either. They still had
I
looks,
know.
even a man down for a good hour almost. Like,
Yeah.
it's tough. Like, who knows what could have happened there? And but I don't know.
And
Like,
so, yeah, go
anytime I
ahead.
see someone flop, like I'm like, okay, like you should know your position. I'm sure your coach told you, hey, like you got a yellow. Like, don't do anything dumb. Like, or if not, you should have. Like, I don't know. It does suck though. I don't know. I don't disagree with that one too much though.
Yeah, it is what it is. So the one thing I'll go on is, so Messi's goal streak ended at 9 games, which that's the record now. So we'll see if anybody gets that one. I do have on the notes I wanted to get to Messi versus Pele eventually. Just grand scheme of things, just overall we're getting close to that conversation. But the one thing I will say is, say Argentina loses this semifinal game to England. I would guess that most Argentina fans, even though they made the semis, are going to be like, this was kind of a failure of a World Cup. Not really a failure, but failure is the wrong word. They got really lucky, is how I'll put it. More than a lot of teams I've seen in any other type of tournament. Argentina, now they come out and they play really well versus England, and they beat England, and they beat whoever in the final. Everybody's gonna forget about all that luck in the beginning if you straight up win the semi and straight up win the final. But this is as much luck as I've seen a team have in a long time. Just with a little bit of our help with just a little bit of, the ball just seems to bounce the right way for them. Messi, he puts himself in the right spot, but, just the ball's been bouncing the right way for Argentina, maybe more than anybody else.
I mean, dare I say it? Vargentina? Do I say?
You did that
But
last time.
no, but I mean, no, I mean even their prior World Cup, like if you look at the path there, they actually had one of the easier paths in that World Cup as well. Not to say like FIFA rigged that, I guess I don't know, but it's just like I'm not gonna call them frauds. Like they're still a good team, but yeah, I do agree with you. They did have a lot of luck on their side this World Cup. And yeah, it's gonna take two really big games for people to kind of just overlook that.
So I probably should have looked this up before. Are these 1 through 4 in the world? Did we get one, two, three, and four? Did who?
Yeah,
I,
I would say they are. Yes.
right?
I don't know if
I'm just trying to.
I don't know if that's the case at the very start, but like as of like knockout stages, yes, these were the one, two, three,
Yeah,
four.
because I'm trying to look through. Like, I know Brazil was like 5 or 6. I know they weren't in the top four, and that would kind of be the one that might have been up there. But yeah, I think so. So yeah, to your point, I keep saying it's been a great tournament. We're gonna have two great semifinal games, and you keep saying, "Well, duh," because it's been rigged, and we're getting the best teams. Which I don't, which I think Hoy's joking, and I don't believe it's true. To be very, very clear. But
I'm not joking, but yeah, we can lean whichever way you want to on this.
but all that being said, we got these are two great games. I mean, you're gonna watch them, and I mean, time. So I guess let's talk about it this way. I think the one complaint America would have is we're hosting this tournament, and are we scheduling these games at the best time for us, or who are we scheduling these games for?
I
Three
think it's for the
o'clock.
rest of the world.
So especially it's sure as heck not for you. Um, these games are going to be Tuesday and Wednesday this week, July 14th, July 15th, both at 3 o'clock Eastern, 12 o'clock Pacific. So you are going to need to take a nice long lunch break, on a Tuesday and a Wednesday.
Easy.
Yeah, well, not everybody is quite as blessed as Hoy out there. Thankfully for me, I can kind of sneak out a little early and at least catch the second half. But yeah, that I think that has been one complaint about America. The USA games specifically were obviously scheduled so we could watch them. There was a lot of late games for the tournament. We always found ourselves in the late games, but yeah, we're definitely scheduled, and I wonder if it would have been different if USA was in it. I don't know how far in advance they scheduled these time slots for, but just yeah, thought it was funny that these games suddenly got a little bit easier to watch over in Europe and a little bit more difficult to watch in the United States.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it could also have to do with Gianni's nap schedule, and we got to coordinate around the FIFA president and all that. So I don't know. At this point, I don't know who's in charge and who's doing what.
All right, so before we get to Messi Pele, one of the last things I want to get to is let's talk a little United States. And really the only thing I want to talk about is I think the country was a little too hard on Christian, specifically with his injury. Um, I've watched that over and over. I don't see any reason why he needed to keep playing. Like his ankle was clearly hurt, and I think there's been a stress fracture or some or microfracture or something like that, which I'm sure lots of athletes have played through. But at the same time, like our bench is good, so like the guys that came in for him are very talented, and 100% of Berhalter is better than 65-70% of Pulisic, especially in I guess let me change direction. So Carli Lloyd was the one that really got a lot of attention for calling Christian out because in his post-game interview after the loss, he essentially was like, "Well, now I have a lot of time to rest now that we lost," and that really rubbed people the wrong way. The way he said that. And Carli Lloyd specifically called him out. One of the famous women's players who has won at least one World Cup. Um, and and I've barked up that tree before when Simone Biles took herself out of the Olympics years ago. And I would listen back to my points and how I sounded, and I didn't love it. I would rather not have been on the side I was when Simone pulled herself out of those Olympics. And so I will gladly not take the side of Christian should have played hurt in that situation. I think we went a little too harsh on him as a country. Like I said, my big thing, and I said it in our last podcast, like right off the bat, was there was no leadership. There was no heart. And I don't necessarily think those two things mean you have to play hurt in a way that you're not helping the team, is all I'm trying to say. So I don't know. What did you think just about the criticism in the United States? Because it's been pretty bad this last week or two.
Yeah, I feel a little bad for him, but at the same time, like, first of all, he needs like media help.
True. No, it's true. Hmm.
I mean, definitely a terrible post game interview. There's no dodging that bullet. Um, but yeah, do I think he should have played hurt? No, but at the same time, like, to all your points, first of all, we didn't look like we were really gonna take that game home. They were just kind of womping us. Um, they needed just a team, I don't know, team bonding meeting before this game or something where they just get together, have a couple beers or like play Xbox or something. I don't know. Like they just from what's crazy is though I see the post games of all the prior games and they're having a ball in the bus ride home, on the airplane. Like you see them just singing songs together and doing all that. It did not look like they had that kind of chemistry on that day from the start all the way to the finish. Like it just looked bad. And so yeah, to your point, I do agree with you, but it's just tough because it's like from the fans' perspective, it's gonna be outrage because it's just like you're the best player.
Yeah.
Like where were you even before
Hmm.
that moment, right? You didn't really produce or create any moments even before that. Like it's just a full letdown, and it's just a sad World Cup finale for the USA.
And so, yes, let's leave USA aside and move on to these last four teams we have now. And specifically, let's start with just Messi's legacy if things go his way here. So Messi won he didn't win his first World Cup until, 4 years ago at the last one. So that was kind of the whole thing with Messi's career was, he is probably the best club player ever. Messi is. And honestly, his biggest competition is probably Cristiano. Like we probably just got blessed with on the club side specifically, take the national side out of it. If you put the stats up there, it is those two. You have to put the eye test to it to start bringing in some of these other names. Um, but Messi hadn't had the success on the World Cup side, but the international side, not just the World Cup. But for the South American teams and for the Americas in general, we don't have the Euros, which has the prestige that they get on the 2 years between the World Cups. We have the Copa Americas, which has a little prestige to it. It's basically our side of the world, and I think part of the reason why we don't put a lot of brass behind it is because the United States never wins, and so we don't really understand it. So that's probably it would help if we were competitive in it, then maybe we would understand it more. Um, anyways, so if Messi were to win, that would be his second World Cup. There is only one person who has three, and that is Pele. And Pele didn't play his club in Europe. And so Pele, first of all, played in the 60s into the 70s. And so, he was at his best in the 60s, which, TV just started coming around. We have film of some of his games. You can see he pops off the screen. You start talking about guys in the past from these old grainy films that pop off the screen. Maradona's the one specifically. If you watch old grainy Maradona, he pops just like Messi does now. But anyways, back to the Messi versus Pele. If Messi were to win, that would be two. Pele had three. Messi's not going to get another chance to do another one of these. And so it would have to be if he were to overtake a lot of people are just giving him the GOAT. And I think the point of this conversation I wanted to have was he is not the international GOAT. Pele is still that guy. And Messi would have to win this one for there even to be a conversation. Now, if Messi did win this one and he had two. You could argue it's harder to win in the modern times. There's a lot more better teams now than there was back when Pele was winning. Yada yada. There's a lot more smarter people that can make a lot of these arguments. But he would have to win this one. There's the one battery commercial that's going on and on and on that nobody's had this career like Messi, and Messi's the GOAT, and nobody runs like what I'm talking about. They run it over and over and over again. And every time I hear that commercial, I'm just like, based off what? Like, what do you just say? This is just the most I'm saying something ever. Because Pele is still the international GOAT. Messi's the best club player ever. Maybe that makes Messi the best player ever. Take second place on one side and first place on the other side. That probably does make you the best player ever. But I just wanted to get that out there. That was the last thing I had for this week. Did you have any closing thoughts? Anything I just said that was crazy? Anything I missed this week?
I mean, honestly, I don't know enough about Pele to really make an argument. I guess for me, it's like I use him in FIFA, and I'm like, oh man, this guy's kind of a beast. But that's my scope of that. So kind of hard to say. But I mean, Messi would be my GOAT, especially for this generation. So that'd be the only argument I have. But that's about it.
And it's not an argument against Messi being the GOAT. It's just, one of those where it's almost like Pele is going to be Bill Russell in basketball, where, there's the guys in the corner yelling Bill Russell won 11 championships. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. And then MJ's still the GOAT.
So I think it's going to end up being that. So Messi's going to be MJ and Pele's sadly going to be Bill Russell.
Now, in there, I heard you say this is probably Messi's last run. You don't think he could come back for one more if he does win this one?
You know what? You never know.
39 right now, right? So he would be 43, right?
I would,
even if he's coming off the bench for 15, 20 minutes, like Lukaku is right now, I don't know, something like that.
I would guess Stephen A. Smith and Colin Cowherd were saying Tom Brady was done, starting at 34, 35, something like that, and he went an extra 10 years. So I mean, who knows, right? That's all.
Modern medicine too. Who knows? He could play till he's 50.
With my high level of income and advances in modern technology, shoot, I could live to be 250 years old. The great Ricky Bobby. All right, what do we miss from this week? What do we got? We went over a lot here actually. Like I said, we got the two games coming up Tuesday and Wednesday this week. Two great ones: France, Spain, England, Argentina. Powerhouses, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the world. I mean,
I think we at least got to pick, right? Who do you got for these two games?
No, that's a good point, actually. That's a good point. So I will let you go first. I think I went first in the draft, and I have some teams left. Well, I guess we'll see if you stray away from the team you started with. There's only one team you had left from the original draft.
And I'm not going to start there because I got to get this. Argentina will be in the finals. Just. I don't care how much money you have on Calci or what you're willing to do. The FIFA gods have spoken. Argentina will be in the finals. That's my first pick.
Well, okay, but then who are they going to win? So what? I mean, what do we got? Who are they playing, and are they going to win?
I do personally have France winning the whole thing.
So that's a rematch. Oh, so you have a rematch, but going the other way. Okay.
France, Argentina, and I got France taking it this time. Almost like a pass the torch type of moment. But yeah, it's hard to argue against Argentina and France, honestly, because France has just been putting on showcase after showcase, and they just have guys who can finish, just fully stacked all-star team, and on top of that, you got 3 guys who can put it in the back of the net every game. Stuff.
So I'm gonna go against, it's funny, we're both going to go against Spain because I am going to pick France over Spain. So that's probably a death sentence for us. I would probably bet all your money on Spain. But I'll take England over Argentina. You're saying Argentina is destiny because, we want it to be that way and we're going to artificially make it that way.
Not we, FIFA, not we. I don't give a damn.
I meant the collective we. Yes, I get it. FIFA.
I like to say them, the collective them.
Okay. That's okay. That's better. I'll work on that. I will take England though, and it does feel like they are probably the crowd favorite at this point. A lot of people like Mbappe, and a lot of people like the individual players in the other teams. You know, a lot of people like Lamar, a lot of people like Messi, but just England, they have the top, it's like America has the top leagues for all the other sports. England has the top club soccer league. The English Premier League is the number one club league. I know Barcelona and Real Madrid might have the best individual programs, but as a league health whole, as a whole, that league is the most popular league in the world. And I think every now and then it's good to give their fans something. I think England deserves to win every now and then. They've actually probably been more of a punching bag than a powerhouse the last 20 years, basically since Beckham, really. I mean, they've been, Rooney had a little something. It was funny when we look back and we learned Wayne Rooney scored one World Cup goal. I remember that was like, I was like, him and Harry Kane had to be like in the same ballpark, right? And it was like, no, there was only 11 goal difference between the two. And so I'll take England just for, I do think the world would like it if England won. It would be a nice heartwarming story, I think is what I'm trying to say.
I mean, every dog has his day, and they are one of the biggest choke artists from like one of the top countries. So maybe this is their year. I will give them that. Honestly, just for betting advices for people out there, I'm a great person to counter bet against. So I don't disagree with you. Like, if I pick France, Argentina, y'all might as well go Spain, England at this point.
So if you were going to make a parlay based on what we just said, and we're like, purposely going the opposite, Spain over France, England over Argentina, and then pick Spain to win it all. That's basically the opposite of what we just said. So that is, I think, a great way to end this show. Everybody, thank you for listening this week to Stars, Stripes, and Stress. We will talk to you after the final. Good night, everybody.
Bye.
Adios.